Guys, this is Shri again with the second video. This one's going to be dealing with Maya and the illusion and my interpretation of Maya. I'm going to try and make this a little shorter than the last video. I realize that you all have busy lives, and I really appreciate you taking the time to listen and pay attention to what I have to say to you. And I honestly hope that it's helping and it's making your life a little easier. So in the second blog post, I talk about Maya and what that my interpretation of it, which is the spiral that life takes you through, that your mind takes you through. And I give you an example of how I've, I see something in my email, I decide to sign up for it, and then I'm not focused on anything. I'm in my husband's head, and I've got a little husband yelling at me, and then I'm not present when my daughter calls me, and then I get get anxious about it. Then I'm not performing at work. And so the way the mind tricks you into this, down this rabbit hole, and how it that's what I say is Maya. And what we believe in Hinduism, as I describe in the blog, is that is that it is the goddess who creates that illusion. Now, what is the purpose of creating that illusion? The purpose of creating that illusion is my interpretation, is to create a sense of desperation of, when that happens, you're again anxious here. You're not in your body, and so you don't like that sensation. So you try to do something about it. So it is actually a temple bell. It is actually a way of calling you to the path. So what I've learned to do is when I'm able, and it's one of the things that you will notice as you become more and more aware of when you're feeling anxious, is that it's not constant. There are breaks in your anxiety, and those breaks are actually where the temple bell is ringing. Is that moment when you're being called, and when there is that awareness. So another way to look at it is you can feel this anxiety, but you can also feel that you can feel a part of you that's observing this person who's going down the rabbit hole, the part of you that's going down the rabbit hole. That's another way to look at it. And that when you're able to sort of release yourself from the spiral and get into that space of that person, the observer, that's one way to get away from it. But the exercise that I find most effective is when I become aware of my I'm going down this spiral, and there's a moment when I either think, oh my God, I wish I could stop this, or what am I doing? And that is my moment. That is my bell. And when I hear that bell, what I've learned to do is to pivot to gratitude. So as I begin to feel that anxiety, and as I begin to see myself going down and spiraling down, as soon as I become aware of it, I say thank you. And what I do is I actually imagine, again, you can always feel this anxiety in some part of your body. Most of us have, it's around the heart and the solar plexus, but for others it might be your shoulders, It might be your throat, depending on whether whether you're stopping yourself from speaking your truth. You might have a headache. So it'll manifest in different ways and for different people. For me, as I've said before, it's around my heart and my solar plexus. So what I've begun to do is, as I become aware of this, I stop myself. I go in, I say thank you, and I begin to imagine a little altar inside me, and my deity. In this case, I think of a goddess, and I have a lot of images of goddesses here. I don't know if you can see them. Not the best camera person, but that is one of my images. And here you can also see my oil lamp that is lit, which is actually lit in honor of my nephew. But I imagine her inside that space where I'm feeling the anxiety, and I imagine a lit lamp there, and I imagine myself sort of joining my palms in a gesture of prayer, and head bent down, thanking her for having created this spiral to remind me to get back onto my path. So what that does for me is it reframes the whole situation. It helps me to pivot out of this real anxious moment and settle into the knowledge that, oh, this is not something that I need to worry about. This is my temple bell. This is the bell that is inviting me back onto the path, and I am so grateful for it. So try that out. The next time you find yourself going down the spiral, going down the rabbit hole is one way, another way to think about it. And see how that helps you. As I've said, for me, I am a Hindu. I'm a practicing Hindu. So for me, these are the images that help me. But you could quite as easily think of whichever spiritual figure rings your bells. So, actually, I grew up going to Catholic schools and singing in Christian choirs and stuff. So for me, it's not difficult to imagine Jesus Christ in my heart and thanking him and touching his feet and being grateful for the call to the path. Because we get on the path, we get off the path, we get on the path, and we get off the path. And like I said in my last video as well, I think enlightenment is a moment-to-moment thing. And every time we're going into the spiral, that's what's happening. We're being encouraged to get back onto the path. So try that out the next time you are feeling really anxious and you feel sort of not in control of yourself, and tell me how that exercise helps you. Until next week and the next video, be blessed. Love you. Thank you for being on this journey with me, and let me know what you think about this video. God bless.